And at this time, I would like to introduce your Braunvieh judge here this morning, Mr. Aaron Hartman. Aaron is from Shelbyville, Kentucky, where he raises club calves and promotes bulls. He showed in 4-H, FFA, and continued his career judging livestock throughout the country. He's judged on the Kentucky 4-H national team, and we do welcome Mr. Aaron Hartman here on the Green Shavings.
Well, good morning, Braunvieh exhibitors. It's an honor to judge on the green shavings, to be able to evaluate your cattle today. This first class is pretty logical for me to start with the black heifer. I think this is very smooth made, very well balanced. She moves very well, has flex at the ground, got a lot of volume, just the right size. She's got the right pattern up front. I really like that heifer a lot. Heifer in second, you got to appreciate the growth and the power. She's got a lot of bone to her. She gives up a little bit in terms of the flank and the smoothness of her structure, but that's a good heifer to go in second. Calf I've got in third. She's got some power, she's got some growth, she's got some body. I'd like to change her a little bit out of her hock and in that rear hip, but that heifer's got some good things about her. Then the calf we got here to round out the class. We've got some power, we've got a lot of bone. I'd like to give her a little bit more depth, give her a little bit more smoothness throughout to get her higher in this class.
Well, good morning over here on the Aberdeen side, and it's really enjoyable to start out the morning with showmanship. It's kind of near and dear to heart to me. I think a good showman goes a long ways. Growing up, I think we probably didn't show some of the grandest females and animals that were out there, but you can move up a spot or two or even get that win at the end of the day from sheer showmanship skills. So like I said, it's one that's really near and dear to heart to me. Out here this morning, I think there's some things that I do maybe a little bit different than some, but the functional pieces of just overall showmanship is kind of what I go after, and that the promptness of getting their feet set up, keeping their heads up and things like that. The eye contact and things like that as well are important to me as well. But getting them things set up in a quick and easy manner is really, for me, the most important thing. We kind of work these kids around, and there's no really placement the way they stand out here right now. I think there's several individuals out here that do a really nice job. With that said, give these kids a round of applause, and I'll go out and pick your champion within this showmanship division.
And placings in Class 1 over in your Braunvieh Junior Show are as followed. First place in Automatic Division Champion goes to entry number 1, Miss JMS Zara 03M, exhibited by Jalen M. Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Second place in Class 1 and Automatic Reserve Division Champion will go to entry number 5, WCCR Laney 4005, exhibited by Adeline Knapp of Salmon, Indiana. Third place in Class 1 goes to entry number 4, SRF Reba 207, exhibited by Adeline Knapp of Salmon, Indiana. Fourth place in that class goes entry number 2, JBB Bubbles 439M, exhibited by Rylan Mailer of Page, Texas. Now in the ring is Class 6 Beef Builder Intermediate Heifers.
This is another class that sorts itself fairly easily in my mind. The heifer we're going to start to use the class. I think in this class you can use pretty much most of the EST adjectives to describe this heifer. I like her body shape. I like her structure. I like her power. I like the look she gives you. That's a good heifer to start. We don't need to say a whole lot about her here. The heifer in second, you got to appreciate the body shape, the springer rib, and the depth through that lower 1/3. I'd like to clean this heifer up a little bit in her brisket, put her on a little bit more stoutness of bone, and add some shape to her muscle, but that's a good functional heifer to go in second.
And over in your Aberdeen show, congratulations to those Findlay showmanship contestants. And your winner over in your showmanship contest goes to And your winner over in your Findlay showmanship contest goes to Connor MacArthur. Congratulations. Also, congratulations to Gracelyn Hyder, Catherine Wesmeyer, Haley D., Kyra Sutherland, Maddie Cook, and Sam Waldman. Again, congratulations to those Findlay exhibitors on a successful showmanship class. And now in the ring will be your junior division over in your Aberdeen showmanship contest. We have Delaney Dutton, Ella Patterson, Angus Dean, and Aberdeen Dean. Again, we are now working on your junior showmanship contest. And over in your Braunvieh show, Class 6 Beef Builders, first place in that class and Automatic Division Champion. We'll go to entry number 8, James Legacy Unmatched, exhibited by Shelby Shimura of Wiley, Texas. And second place in your Reserve Division goes to entry number 9, Tooth Panda, exhibited by Morgan Hill of Lexington, Indiana. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now in the ring is Class 7 Beef Builder Junior Yearling Heifers.
Well, we've got a single entry over here, and it's a heifer that I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more later, but this is a heifer that you really got to appreciate a lot about. There's a lot of good, the pattern that this heifer has, the balance that she has, the flexibility in her hock and her pastern. She's got some length and squareness to her hip. I really like that front 1/3 that she has, the way she comes up out of her shoulder. That's a really good heifer. We'll be seeing her again shortly.
And first place in Class 7 over in your Braunvieh show goes to entry number 10. She will also be your Automatic Division Champion, Miss JMS Dora L374, exhibited by Jalen M. Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations. We're now ready to select your Grand Champion Beef Builder Braunvieh Heifer here at the North American. Again, we're now ready to select your Grand Champion Beef Builder Heifer.
Another nice heat out here, showmanship, and there's not as many numbers within this heat, but I think these kids do a really nice job. As these young people get out in front of us here this morning, there's some of these heifers out here that aren't wanting to cooperate as well, but as you take it back to the basics for me, with the feet and leg and promptness of that, I think there's one individual out here that does a really nice job with that and does all the ESTs when it comes down to getting the heifer presented at the highest degree. So with that said, give these kids a round of applause and I'll go out and pick your champion within this division.
And congratulations to your junior showmanship exhibitor, and that will go to Ella Patterson. Congratulations. We're now ready for your intermediate showmanship contest over in your Aberdeen show. No, I didn't.
We talked all these heifers a little bit in class, so I don't need to say a whole lot. I will just touch on a few things. The youngest heifer up here that won the first class, there's a lot of good in that heifer, and I think time down the road is going to be her friends. The pattern that heifer has, the front 1/3, the way she comes up out of there, the body shape, she's got some power, she's got flex, she's really square in her hip. There's a lot of stuff I really like about that younger female there. The one that came out of the second class, again, totally different type and kind, but when you talk about product and you talk about bone and foot size, you talk about muscle shape, this heifer's got it. She's got a lot of natural width, just a lot of power. I'd like to see her get a little bit easier on her top when she's moving, but there's a lot of good about that heifer. The heifer that won the oldest division there, you can say a lot about this heifer. There's just a lot of good there, and there's not a lot of things we can fault about her today. Presentation is good. The way that heifer is made for a beef builder to come the way she does up out of her front third is very impressive. I like that female. I think this is pretty much a runaway on the top, and it's a closer for second, but I'll go out and select them how I like them. Again, 3 very nice individuals here in the champion drive.
And your grand champion beef builder heifer over at the Braunvieh show goes to entry at number 10, Miss JMS Dora L374, exhibited by Jalen M. Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations. And your reserve grand champion beef builder heifer will go to entry at number 1, Miss JMS Zara 03M, exhibited by Jalen M. Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. And we are now ready to move on to your junior show full-blood purebred heifers over in your Braunvieh show. Again, we're ready for class 15 full-blood purebred heifers.
division out here in the Aberdeen showmanship class here. I think there's 4 individuals in front of me that do a really nice job. I think there's some little things that set them apart. As I've talked within the past 2 showmanship classes, for me, just punctuality on how you get your feet placed, keeping their heads up, and doing that in the quickest and tidiest manner is kind of the utmost importance for me. With that though, I do, like I said, think these 4 individuals do a nice job. If you would, go ahead and give these kids a round of applause, and I'll pick your champion within this division.
We have a single entry over here in the Braunvieh side. There's this young heifer here. I understand she was just weaned, so she's not cooperating the best, but there's a lot of things we can appreciate about this heifer. I like the flex she has at the ground. I like the flex she has in the hock. I like the body shape of her. She's got some depth of rib. She's got some length of front. We'll see this heifer again later. Good young individual.
And first place in Class 15 over in your full-blood purebred heifer show goes to entry number 17, CDP JBB Dynasty Lady 74M, exhibited by Colt Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Congratulations. We're now ready for Class 15A to be making their way in the ring. Again, now in the ring is Class 15A full-blood purebred Braunvieh heifers. And congratulations to Mike Patterson for your intermediate showmanship champion over in the Aberdeen show, as well as congratulations to McGregor Anthony and Abby Anthony and Kara Dutton for exhibiting over in the intermediate division. Now making her way in the ring is your novice division over in your showmanship contest for your Aberdeen show. Again, we have William Wadsworth and Lillian Wadsworth, as well as Coley Hill entering the ring for the competition of your novice showmanship.
Over here on the Braunvieh side of the purebreds, I'm going to go with the heifer that in my mind is the most fault-free of this group. She's not the biggest. She's not the highest volumed heifer, but when you talk completest, she's got the best structure when it comes to her hock design and her pastern at the ground. I like her pattern. I like how level she is throughout. She's very well balanced. She comes out of her shoulder really nice. Just a very nice, attractive, complete female to start. The heifer in second, yeah, she's a little bit more growthy. My problem with her is she gets a little bit more coarse in her hip, and then in her hock and pastern, she gets a little tight. But that's a good heifer with a lot going for her. The heifer we round out the class with, this is the biggest volumed, deepest sided heifer. Again, where she gets a little bit out of sorts in my mind is in her hip. She gets a little high in her top when she's moving, and then a little restricted on her rear legs. But a big, growthy, high-volumed heifer to round out the class.
And placings in Class 15A over in your full-blood purebred heifer show in your Braunvieh division. First place goes entry number 18, SW Honey Bun, exhibited by Everett Tenkamp of Owington, Kentucky. Second place in that class will go to entry number 19, JBB Melinda, 44OM, exhibited by Coy Pittman of Canadian, Texas. And third place in that class goes to entry number 42, Pat Madison, exhibited by Cambry Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors. Now making your way into the ring is Class 15B full-blood purebred heifers over in your Braunvieh show.
Really good class over here on the Aberdeen side, and I think these three individuals out here do a really nice job. I think there's some personal differences for me, and not to be repetitive, but feet placement and the promptness of getting there is utmost priority for me. I think there's some differences in the way that they present themselves out here, and obviously we have some difference in ages of animals, and your partner out here you're trying to do showmanship with, so that also makes it a little bit more difficult on those aspects. But with that said, I think there's one individual out here that does the most right things for me. If you guys would give these kids a round of applause, and I'll go show you your champion within this division.
And congratulations to Lillian Wadsworth over in your novice showmanship division winner. Again, congratulations to Lillian Wadsworth. And we are now ready to select your overall showman champion. And again, over in your Aberdeen show, we are now selecting your champion showman here at the North American. Again, we are selecting your grand champion showman in your showmanship contest. We have Connor MacArthur, Ella Patterson, Mike Patterson, and Lillian Wadsworth. Again, we are now selecting your champion showman here in the North American.
Over here on the Braunvieh side, we've got two really, really nice individuals on the top, and there's give and take. If you want to split hairs and go the other way, I'm fine with that. There's just the heifer that I'm going to start the class with. I think it's just a little bit more complete. She comes out of her shoulder incredibly well in that neck. Yeah, she carries a little bit more leather in her front, but the way that she balances up, she's deeper in her flank. Her pin bones sit a little bit higher in her. There's just a lot of good there. A very attractive, nice female to start the class. The heifer we have in second, I like the power and the muscle shape that we've got in this one. She just gets a little bit out-horsed, and she gets a little bit round on the move for me to use her in first, but that's a very good heifer that I like a lot. As we move down the line here, the next heifer that we have here, I like the growth of this heifer. I think where she gives up in terms of power to the other two, she needs to be a little bit more wider. She needs to have a little bit more bone, but a very attractive, nice heifer in third. The heifer in fourth, obviously she's got more power. She's got more pin width. She's got more foot size. I get a little bothered by her shoulder construction to move up higher. And then the two heifers we have down here towards the end of the class, they're more moderate sized. They're high volume, good little females. I think what gets me again is the coarseness that they have up front to be able to move up higher, but a good class of females here.
Get these young individuals back out here for your supreme showmanship within these divisions. I definitely think there's a lot of quality, and these kids are really, really good sticks. I think there's some differences in age levels here, obviously, but I think they all do a lot of things right. Not to be repetitive, but feet placement and keeping their heads up, and then adding some extras of being just simply calm, being really easy and good in your transitions, and just the demeanor that you have out here within it today is kind of the where I side with. I think if I'm be quite honest, it comes down to the two oldest age divisions for me, and I think both of these young individuals do a lot of things right. And when it comes down to personal preference, I think there's one that's maybe a little bit smoother, a little bit calmer out here today, and I think there's one that just offers a little bit more intensity, but maybe the calf doesn't act as good as their counterpart. With that said, though, I'll go out here and pick your champion reserve within this Supreme Drive, but really, really nice showmanship competition this morning. Please give these kids a round of applause, and I'll go pick your champion.
And your champion showman here in your Aberdeen show goes to Connor MacArthur. Congratulations. Congratulations to all your showmanship exhibitors. And after showmanship, we are ready for that Class 120 Spring Heifer Calves over in your Junior Full Blood Aberdeen show. Again, we will be starting with your Full Bloods this morning with Class 120.
We've got a good division over here in the Braunvieh show, and there's a lot of give and take in all of these. We've talked them all a little bit. I think there's a logical place to start. I'll go out and select your champion of the division.
And catching up over in your full-blood purebred Braunvieh show, placings in Class 15B are as followed. First place and your division champion goes to entry number 26, WCCR Polar Princess 4027, exhibited by Aiden Wolken of Mendenhall, Mississippi. And second place in that class, number 15B, will go to entry number 21, SW Roxy, exhibited by Ellen Zingelbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Third place in Class 15B goes entry number 22, a Firecracker, exhibited by Kendall Ashcraft of Hanover, Indiana. And fourth place in that class will go to entry number 27, CEF Miss Maria Levux, exhibited by Caitlin Arhart of Leah Lake, Texas. Fifth place goes entry number 23, exhibited by Aubrey Luking of Salem, Illinois. Sixth place in that class will go to entry number 20, exhibited by Aubrey Luking of Salem, Illinois. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring will be Class 15C. Who was reserved? And your reserve division champion will go to entry number 21, exhibited by Ellen Zingelbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Congratulations. Again, now in the ring is Class 15C.
Single entry class over here on the Aberdeen side, and I think it's a heifer that offers a lot of quality. I think a calf that ties in really nice and high out of the top side of her blade up through the front 1/3 of her skeleton. And you take this one down to the ground, she's really big and massive footed and carries that up. Get in behind her, she offers a lot of width and power as well. Look forward to seeing her back out here for division. Nice single entry for this young man.
And first place in Class 120 over in your Aberdeen show and automatic division champion goes to entry number 200, FAF Crystal 10M, exhibited by Winston McGregor of Anthony Chester, New Hampshire. Congratulations. In the ring now is Class 125 Senior Heifer Calves over in your Aberdeen show. Again, now in the ring now is a Junior Full Blood Class 125.
Another nice single entry out here in the Aberdeen show, and I think this young lady's heifer brings a lot of quality to the table. I think when you talk about overall balance and one that's really striking from the side, this one takes that token. You analyze her in the center portion of her body cavity. I think that one's really soft and maternal there, and then still has some added width and power. Really nice individual for this young lady. Look forward to seeing her back as well. Congratulations to her.
And first place in Class 125 goes to entry number 203 at TCS XNL 14H, exhibited by Annabelle Anthony of Chichester, New Hampshire. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be Class 126 Senior Heifer Calves over in your Junior Full Blood Female show.
Here on the Braunvieh side, this class obviously, I have a lot more questions. There's a lot more going back and forth in my mind over this, and you can take this either way. I think the place I have to start is the heifer. It's a little more growthy. She's got a little bit more product. She's got more width and thickness down her top. She's wider in her pins. She's stouter on the ground. There's good with that heifer. The heifer in second is obviously the heifer that's a little bit. She's better in her structure. She's better in her shoulder design. She's better in her hip, which then allows her to move a little bit freer on the move. She's more relaxed in her top. The problem I see with this heifer, she gets a little too narrow. She's finer boned, and she gets pretty high up in her flank. But a very diverse group of heifers in that class.
And first place in Class 15C over in your full-blood purebred Braunvieh show are as followed. First place goes to entry number 28, S.W. Lavender Hayes, exhibited by Natalie Zingelmein of Camelsburg, Indiana. And second place in that class goes to entry number 29, Miss G.B.R. Sonnell, exhibited by Jeremiah Gonzalez of Palestine, Texas. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We're now ready for Class 15D.
Back over here on the Aberdeen side, I think there's some give and take within this respective class, and I just feel more comfortable starting off with the young lady's red heifer. I think when you get this one parked, she just ties in so much neater and tidier out of the top side of her blade up through the front 1/3 of her skeleton. When she's on the profile, she balances up just a smidge nicer. You know, I'd be the first to admit that that one probably could have a little bit more sweep to the bottom side of her belly. Maybe one that would go with a little more flex and ease out of the center portion of her spine. But I think when you just get that one parked, she's too hard to deny that she needs to go ahead and win the class. The young man's heifer that comes out next is one that you really admire. She probably does balance up a little bit better than her class winner. I think it's one that's big and soft at the ground. That one just needs to tie in a little higher, neater out of the top side of her blade. Maybe one that can have a shot more center body to her, but another nice heifer for that young man as well.
And first place in Class 126 over in your junior full-blood Aberdeen show goes to entry number 204, TCS Red Patience 30L, exhibited by Ella Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. And second place in that class goes to entry number 206, TCS B Patient B28L, exhibited by Winston McGregor Anthony of Chichester, New Hampshire. Congratulations. We're now ready to select your champion senior heifer calf over in your Aberdeen show. Please note entry number 205 was a scratch.
Really nice division out here in the Aberdeen show, and I think these two class winners are really high quality. Just to be brief, I think the young ladies heifer that comes out of that first class is one you got to admire just for overall balance. I think that heifer checks a lot of the boxes when it comes to fundamentals. That heifer's really good in the center portion of her body. She's still feminine and balances and ties really nice through her whole entire skeleton. If you're going to pick on that one, maybe when she goes, she wants to get outside of her skeleton ever so slightly. When you step in behind her, probably needs to be a little bit stouter about her pin for me, but a really nice heifer that wins that first class. Heifer that comes out of that second class is one that's really intriguing and striking from the side, as we talked in class. I think that one, when she gets her parked, is one that's really hard to deny. She balances up good from that aspect. She's really big and soft at the ground. I think a heifer, when you step in behind her, is really square and good out of her pins and offers a lot of width from that aspect as well. As we talked in class as well, that heifer probably could be a little neater and tidier out of the bottom side of her chest, maybe one that could be a little bit more relaxed in her spine as you ask her to go, but I think that's a really high quality heifer for that young lady as well. With that said, give these kids a round of applause, and I'll go out and pick your champion reserve within this division.
Over here on the Braunvieh side, I think we've got 3 heifers up front that all offer something unique to that female. The female I'm going to start with, I think, is the combination heifer. She's got the look, she's got the balance, she's got the profile, she's got the levelness to her top, levelness to her hip. She's got some depth of body, she's got some natural width, she's got some bone. That, to me, is the combination heifer. We move over here to second, and you can't deny the depth and the body capacity of this female, and I think that's one you turn out on pasture down the road, and she just keeps very easily. What concerns me about this heifer is her front end structure. I think I'd like to tuck her up in that chest floor a little bit. I'd like to give her some more angle to her shoulder and clean up that front third, have her come up a little higher out of her shoulder. But there's a lot of good I like about that female. The heifer in third, she's a longer body type where we get a little out of sorts with her. She gets a little short in her hip, a little tight in her flank. Just doesn't quite pattern up to those heifers above her, but that's a good heifer that's got some production, got some muscle, got some bone. Moving into the heifer we have in fourth. This is a little bit growthier female. Again, she just gets out horsed when it comes to width. Her foot size, I think she gets a little bit coarser, maybe a little greener, but some time on feed, that'll be a good cow as well. And then the heifer that we round out the class with, she just gets a little round in her hip and a little underneath her with her rear legs when she's moving. But again, there's a heifer with some bone. She's got some spring to her rib, and she's got some good to her. Just kind of ran into some other issues in this class.
They're nice single entry over on the Aberdeen side. I think it's a heifer that you really have to admire for a lot of things. I think that's one that's really long-bodied. She's got a lot of shape and turn to the top side of her rib. You step in behind her, it's one that's really stout and thick about her hip and carries that true width down to the ground. Maybe probably not as attractive as some of the heifers that we've seen this morning, but I think there's a lot of just really good functional, fundamental pieces about that heifer. Congratulations to that young man on a nice single entry.
And over in your Aberdeen show, your champion senior heifer calf goes to entry number 204, exhibited by Ella Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. And your reserve division senior heifer calf champion goes to entry number 203, exhibited by Annabelle Anthony of Chichester, New Hampshire. Now in the ring, first place in class 130, it goes to entry number 209, Finning Retha, exhibited by Angus Dean of Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Now in the ring is class 132.
We got a single entry over here on the Braunvieh side, and this is a female that I think can handle a lot of competition here. I like a lot about her. I like the body shape. I like the profile. I like the way she balances up. She's got some width. She's got some bone. She's got a lot of flex to her joints, really smooth and laid in nice to her shoulder and the point of her shoulder. She comes up nice out of the point of her shoulder there. That's a good female. We'll see here a little bit later.
Another single entry over here. This young lady brings us another high quality heifer. I think when you evaluate this one at the ground, she's really intriguing. One that's really big footed. She's really soft in all of her lower extremities. You ask that one to go, she pretty well glides around the ring. If you're going to get nitpicky on this one, for me, I'd love to see her balance a little bit better out of the bottom side of her rib, carry more depth back to her flank, maybe give her a shot more power when you step in behind her, but really like that one's feet and legs. Look forward to seeing her back out here within a division.
And first place in Class 132, Spring Yearling Heifers over in your Junior Full Blood Aberdeen show goes entry number 210, EMP Bright Beauty, exhibited by Erica Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations. We're now ready to select your champion Junior Yearling Heifer. Get ready to select your junior champion yearling heifer over in your Aberdeen show. And placings in Class 15D over in your Braunvieh show are as followed. First place goes entry number 30, S.W. Taylor, exhibited by Ellen Zingebine of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Second place goes to entry number 31, JBB Milla, 434M, exhibited by Caitlin Onhart of Ella Lake, Texas. Third place in that class goes entry number 33, JBB Montague, exhibited by Caitlin Onhart of Lake, Texas. Fourth place goes entry number 32, exhibited by Corey Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Fifth place in that class goes entry number 34, exhibited by Riley Flowers of Mount Vernon, Texas. And first place in Class 17 goes entry number 35, exhibited by Ellen Zingebine of Campbellsburg, Indiana. We're now ready to select your calf champion full-blood purebred heifer. And don't forget to visit lindysPhotos.com to find all the photos that are taken here in Broadbent Arena and Freedom Hall. Again, we do appreciate Lindy's Livestock Photographers for being with us this week at the North American. All you have to do is visit lindysPhotos.com to view and purchase all the photos, again, here at the North American.
Selecting for a calf champion over here, and there's give and take on every single one of these females. We've talked them all in class. I think there's two in here that this boils down to. I'm going to study them a little bit more, and we'll go select your champion.
Interesting pair of heifers over here in the Aberdeen side as you get them back out here for division. And I definitely think there's a lot of differences between the two of these heifers. The young man's heifer that wins that first class, talked to her about her there is, one is really good in the center portion of her body. She got a lot of turn to the top side of her rib and carries that down still soft as well. You step in behind her, I think it's one that's certainly got enough width to her pins and carries that down to the ground. As we kind of briefly mentioned there in class, is maybe one that could be tied up a little bbit neater and tighter out of the top side of her shoulder up through her front 1/3 of her skeleton. But I think when it comes down to the meat and potatoes kind of calf, that's a really nice heifer. The heifer that comes out of that second class talked about how I really admired that one's feet and legs. I think that heifer is really big at the ground, really like the squishiness to her lower ankles and extremities, and when you ask that thing to go, she does very easily. Probably one that isn't as soft in the center portion of her body, probably one that could carry a little bit more depth back to her flank, but I think from a skeletal build, that heifer's really nice and really intriguing in that aspect. With that said, I'll go out and pick your champion reserve with this division. Give these kids a round of applause.
And your champion junior yearling heifer over in your Aberdeen show goes to entry number 210, EMP Bright Beauty, exhibited by Erica Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations. Your reserve division champion will go to entry number 209, Femi Rita, exhibited by Angus Dean of Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Congratulations. We're now ready to select your grand champion full-blood Aberdeen female here at the North American. And over in your Braunvieh show, your division champion will go to entry number 35, WWMI candidate 378L, exhibited by Ellen Zingebein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. And your reserve division champion will go to entry number 30, SW Taylor, exhibited by Ellen Zingebein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now in the ring is Class 20 Intermediate Heifers.
We got a single entry over here in the Braunvieh show, and you've got a heifer in front of us that there's a lot of things we can appreciate. I like her length of front. I like how she comes out of her shoulder. She's very level down her top. She's long-sided. She's got some angle and set to her pastern and her hock. That's a good heifer. We'll see her in a little bit.
And over in your Braunvieh show, your first place in Class 20. Please note it was a single entry. Goes to entry number 39, L7 Cream Brulee, exhibited by Riley Flowers of Mount Vernon, Texas. Now entering the ring will be Class 20A, entries number 40 and 41. Again, now entering the ring is Class 20A.
In the Braunvieh show over here, I think there's a heifer that logically goes to the top for me. She's carrying a little bit more condition. However, the thing that separates these heifers the most in my mind is the way their shoulder's constructed, particularly in the point of their shoulder. This female that's going to start the class, she comes out of her shoulder and her neck a little bit higher. She's laid in more at the point of her shoulder. She's got a little bit more depth in her flank. She's got more bone. She's got more foot size. And she's also just a little bit squarer in her hip. The heifer we got in second, I like the length of side to this one. She's given up just a little bit in terms of her condition. She's not quite as far along. She's a little bit greener, so she looks a little bit like she's sloping from hooks to pins. She's a little bit more raw through that shoulder and in the forerib there. That's what puts her in second.
We get back out here to the champion drive. I know the numbers haven't been extensive, but I think there's a lot of quality within these three division winners out here. You know, just to give you some brief comments that I have, the young man's heifer that comes out of that first class, I think it's one that's really raw in her overall condition that she comes to us today. But I think when you read that one, she reads with a lot of future. Talk about one that is really skinny, really skinny, really neat necked, one that offers a lot of shape and power when you get behind her. She just wants to fight the young man today. She doesn't want to get out and move off of both ends of her skeleton as well, but a nice heifer that offers a lot of interesting and intriguing pieces. The young lady's heifer there that comes out of that second division, I think that pair of heifers was really nice. You evaluate that one at the ground. She's big-footed. She's soft-legged. The longer she wants to get out here, maybe she wants to be a little more rigid on her pasterns. But I think when that one's parked, that one's really hard to deny. She balances up really good from the side. She's one that's up-headed and still offers enough power and shake when you get in behind her. Definitely a really nice heifer. Her heifer that comes out of that next division, I think for me, just wins it on feet and leg quality. I think that one is monster-footed. She's really squishy in her lower extremities. She's probably one that's not as soft in the center portion of her body cavity or overwhelming in overall power. But I think just skeletal build, that one's really high quality as well. As a talk there within those divisions, I think the young lady's heifer that would have been reserved to the red heifer is one that I think has a lot of quality as well. That one's really good in the center portion of her body. That one's just really functional and balances up very, very nice. The young man's heifer that comes out of that last division, I think that's one that we just called kind of a meat and potatoes kind of heifer. One that's stout, one that's long-bodied, one that balances up fairly nice from the side, just not as attractive as some of her contemporaries out here, but a really nice heifer for that young man as well. So with all that said, I'll go out and pick your champion reserve within his breed.
In the Braunvieh side over here, we've got a division lineup, and I think there's a very logical place to start. Not a lot needs to be said here. We'll go out and select the champion reserve of this division.
I think it's two. And over in your Aberdeen show, your grand champion full-blood Aberdeen female goes to entry number 204 TCS Red Patience 30L, exhibited by Ella Patterson of Findlay, Ohio. Congratulations. Your reserve grand champion full-blood female goes to entry at number 203 TCX Xenia 14H, exhibited by Annabelle Anthony of Chichester, New Hampshire. Congratulations. We're now ready for Class 130 Spring Heifer Calves over in your junior moderator female show. And placings in Class 20A and your division champion will go to entry number 41 at Miss JMS Saline, L414, exhibited by Jalen M. Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. And second place in Class 20A and your reserve division champion will go to entry number 40 at JBB Lenny Joe 360, exhibited by Cambry Pittman of Canadian, Texas. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be Class 21 Braunvieh females.
As we get into the first class of the moderator show, I think a young man brings us a heifer that is really, really high quality. I think one that you evaluate as just a balance and quality standpoint, I think it's the heifer that's so good looking. One that's super good in the center portion of her body. She's still burly when you get in behind her. I think that's a really high quality heifer. You know, maybe when you ask that one to go, she could have a little bit more flex and reach out of her rear too, but I think that heifer is just still ultra high quality. The young lady's heifer that comes out next, I think is a heifer that probably is a little bit better from a skeletal standpoint at the inner lower extremities. Probably one that gets out and reaches with more flex and reach off of both ends of her skeleton. She's one that offers you a really good look from the side. Probably one that's just a little bit greener and rawer today, but a really high quality, good built heifer for that young lady as well.
First place in Class 130 over in your moderator Aberdeen female show goes to entry number 302, ROC Tiger Joy, exhibited by William Wadsworth of Harlem, Maine. And second place in that class goes to entry number 300, ROC Dandelion, exhibited by Lillian Wadsworth of Harlem, Maine. Again, congratulations. Now in the ring is Class 131 Spring Heifer Calves over in your junior moderator female show.
Young lady brings us a nice single entry out here on that moderator side. I think it's a heifer that offers a lot of power and burliness about her build. I think one that's really robust in the shape of the top side of her rib. When you step in behind her, she's big hip, takes a lot of true width down to the ground. Maybe one, when you ask her to go, could be a little bit easier in the center portion of her spine. But I think it's a heifer that offers a lot of quality, really stout individual for that young lady. Look forward to seeing her back out here.
On the Braunvieh side over here, I think there's a heifer that's pretty logical place to start with. This is the growthy female. This is the female that's the pounds per day of age. She's got the spring of ribs. She's got the muscle. She's got the bone. She's got the look. I like how high she comes up out of her shoulder. There's a lot of good in that heifer. The heifer in second, I really appreciate how much flex she has at the ground, particularly in her pastern over the heifer that won the class. She just gives up a little bit too much in terms of size and overall pattern to go against the heifer in the top. The heifer we have in third, this is a heifer that when you first see her, you like a lot of things about her. I love the fact how square she is in her hip. The more I get to analyzing this heifer, the more she just gets a little bit too straight in her front and a little short in that front 1/3. But there is a lot of good in that female.
Another single entry out here, and I think the young man brings us a heifer that offers some quality. You talk about probably one of the longest spine heifers we've seen today, one that ties out really high and neat out of the top side of her blade, heifer that offers a lot of quality from that aspect. You know, maybe one that probably isn't the biggest and the stoutest at the ground, but I think that's a heifer that you really got to admire for overall skeletal length and extension. Nice heifer, young man. Look forward to seeing her back out here as well.
And placings over in Class 21 of your Braunvieh female show. First place, it goes to entry number 45 at WCCR Dream on the Horizon, exhibited by Aiden Wolkin of Mendenhall, Mississippi. Second place goes entry number 43, SW Miss Rosie, exhibited by Everett Tinrap of Owington, Kentucky. And third place goes entry number 44, FLCC, Miss Nellie, exhibited by Audrey Lukin of Salem, Illinois. Now in the ring is Class 20B. And first place in Class 131 over in your moderator female show goes to entry number 303, Rock My K, exhibited by William Wadsworth of Harlem, Maine. And first place in Class 132 goes to entry number 304, EMP Miss Cosmo, exhibited by Patterson Family Farm of Findlay, Ohio. We're now ready to select your champion, a junior heifer calf, over in your moderator show.
I'm going to use the darker heifer here to start this class. I think this is the combination heifer that's the most fault-free. She's really good on the move. She's really good in her pattern. She balances up really nice. She's square made. She's got muscle. She's got bone. There's a lot of good in that heifer. The heifer that comes in second, the brindle heifer here, you got to appreciate the foot size on this one. Where she concerns me is that hip. She gets a little bit round in her hip and a little bit under her and not quite as comfortable moving on those rear legs, but there is a lot of grow and good to that heifer.
And first place in Class 20A over in your Braunvieh female show goes to entry number 46, Miss JMS London, L399, exhibited by Jalen M. Smith of Rosebud, Arkansas. Second place in that class will go to entry number 48, TOTH Firefly, exhibited by Kendall Ashcraft of Hanover, Indiana. Now entering the ring is Class 21B. Again, now entering the ring is 21B Braunvieh purebred females.
Another nice division over here on the moderator side, and I think there's a lot of quality between the four individuals that are out here, but I think these two class winners are very nice. You know, that heifer that comes out of that second class talked about how stout that one was, how big that one's at the ground, and still offers just enough flex and ease for me. Is she perfect off both ends of her skeleton? Probably not, but I think it's a wash between her and the heifer that comes out of that first class. But I think it's a heifer that's really big backed, heifer that carries a lot of stoutness down through her quarter and lower hip. I think it's a really high quality individual. The young man's heifer that comes out of that first class, I think it's one that hit me pretty hard. I think the way this one balances up from the side is really nice. One that's neat and tidy about the front 1/3 of her skeleton, one that's still really big and robust in the center portion of her body, and you still step in behind her, she's got plenty of width and power. You know, I'll probably be the first to admit out here today that she's probably not the soundest off both ends of her skeleton. Probably could have a little bit more flex and reach out of her knee and hock, but I still think that's a really, really high quality female. You get to these two second place heifers here next. I think the young man's heifer, we talked about just overall length and extension. I think that one's really long spine. She's really long and neat out of the front 1/3 of her skeleton. For me, probably one that just needs to be a little stouter at the ground. Probably one that just needs to be a little more comfortable in the center portion of her spine, but you really have to love that heifer for her overall length and extension. The young lady's heifer there that comes out of that first class is second as well. I think that one's probably the soundest individual out here. I think when you evaluate that one's skeleton, she gets and goes and with the most flex and ease off of both ends. For me, probably one just needs a little bit more time. Probably one that needs just a little bit more condition, and I think down the road she'll give the young man a run for his money, but a really nice heifer as well. With that said, give these kids a round of applause, and I'll go out and pick your champion reserve within this division.
Over here on the Braunvieh side, I think there's these females are very similar in type of kind, but the longer you study them, there's some subtle differences that start to separate them in my mind. The one I'm going to start with, the front third of this one just a little bit better. I like her in her chest. I like the cleanness and attractiveness up through her front end. She's also got a little bit more body shape and internal capacity. She's got a little bit more inner flank. I do like the hock construction a little bit better on this heifer in second. I think she just gives up a little bit too much in terms of her overall power, bone size, body, and then attractiveness up front to be ahead of that heifer in front.
And your champion junior heifer calf over in your Aberdeen Moderator show goes entry number 303, ROC MK, exhibited by William Wadsworth of Harlem, Maine. Congratulations. And your reserve division champion, go to entry number 302, ROC Tiger Joy, exhibited by William Wadsworth of Harlem, Maine. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors. Now in the ring is Class 136 senior heifer calves over in your Moderator female show. And first place in Class 21B over in your Braunvieh female show goes to entry number 50, JBB Lovey Grace, L501C, exhibited by Cambry Pittman of Canadian, Texas. And second place in that class will go to entry number 51, AAB Luna Turner, L208, exhibited by Riley Flowers of Mount Vernon, Texas. Now in the ring will be your yearling champion full blood heifer.
Nice single entry back over here on the moderator side, and I think this heifer deserves a lot more competition out here today. I think this one's so good at the ground. She's big-footed. She's really good in all of her angles and her joints and the way her hock functions. And then I still think you get in behind that one, she's got a lot of power. She bounces up really nice from the side. Probably when first glance, you might want to say that one doesn't tie as neat out of the top side of her shoulder blade into her front end. But I honestly think contrary. I think there's just a little bit more hair there on the top side of her blade. I think that's one that does that just fine. Really high quality heifer. Look forward to seeing her back out here as well.
First place and automatic division champion in Class 136 goes entry number 307, TCS Erica 24J, exhibited by Abigail Anthony of Chichester, New Hampshire. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be the selection of your grand champion moderator, Aberdeen female, here at the North American.
Over here on the Braunvieh side, there's definitely three heifers out here that each have their own thing about them that we appreciate. I think there's give and take. I think there's things that we could change about each one of them. There's things we obviously appreciate about each one of them. I think it comes down to priorities in my mind. With that being said, I'm going to go out and select your champion. This is a very good lineup of heifers.
And your division yearling champion female goes to entry number 45, WCCR Dream on the Horizon 30, exhibited by Aiden Wolken of Mendel Hall, Mississippi. Congratulations.
Again, over here on the moderator side, the numbers haven't been extensive, but I think the quality that these three individuals have out here is really, really good. The young man's heifer that wins that first class, I'd be lying if I would say that one didn't hit me in showmanship. I think that heifer is really good from the profile. At the standstill, that one balances up insanely nice. One that's really good looking, still good in her center body, and still offers a lot of power. You know, as we talked in that division, that's probably one that needs to be a little bit more flexible out of her knee and hock, but I think today she's sound enough. I like that heifer a good deal. The heifer that comes out of that second division, I think that's one that just does a lot of things right. You know, in the center portion of her body, she's extremely good. She's really good at her lower extremities as she hits the ground. And I still think that one is pretty enough when you get her back out here and compare to the young man's heifer in front of her. You know, as we talked there a minute ago, maybe one that is a little bit higher at the top side of her blade, but I honestly think that's irrelevant out here. I think that heifer's just really good built and really good, complete, high-quality stock. So with that said, give these kids a round of applause, and I'll go out and pick your champion and reserve within this breed.
And your grand champion, Aberdeen Moderator Female, here at the North American. We'll go to entry number 307, TCS Erica 24J25L, exhibited by Abigail Anthony of Chichester, New Hampshire. Congratulations. And your reserve grand champion, Moderator Female, will go to entry number 303, ROC MK, exhibited by William Wadsworth of Harum, Maine. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors for a successful show here at the North American. And we are ready to select your grand champion full-blood purebred Braunvieh here at the North American. Again, now making their way in the ring will be the selection of your grand champion Braunvieh. And again, to check out all the photos being taken in the ring and all backdrop photos, all you have to do is visit lindeysphotos.com to view and purchase, again, all the pictures here in Broadbent Arena and Freedom Hall. We do appreciate Lindey Livestock Photographers for being with us here this week at the North American. And please note around ringside, the Wagyu show has been canceled for this afternoon. Again, there will be no Wagyu show in Broadbent Arena.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, over here on the Braunvieh side, the numbers aren't huge, but I will say this. If you look out here and you see the top two of each division, the quality is very, very good. I think this is something to be very proud of, and I want to say personally, Thank you to everybody that had a chance or had a hand in getting me to judge the show. I have greatly appreciated working with all of these young folks as well as the ring staff. Being able to evaluate these cattle on the green shavings is obviously a dream come true, and it's very special, so I really appreciate that. We've talked to each of these females, and there's obviously give and take, and there's things you like, and there's things you'd change about every one of them. I think for me, again, it's going to come down to priorities. It's going to come down to completeness. Having said that, I appreciate it. My hat's off to you guys. I'll go out and select your champion.
And your grand champion, full-blood, purebred Braunvieh female here at the North American. We'll go to entry number 26, WCCR Polar Princess 4027, exhibited by Andy Wolkin of Mendenhall, Mississippi. Congratulations. And your reserve grand champion, full-blood, purebred Braunvieh here at the North American. We'll go to entry number 35, My candidate 378L, exhibited by Ellen Zingelbein of Campbellsburg, Indiana. Congratulations to those exhibitors. And that will conclude your junior show over in your Braunvieh division. Again, we do appreciate everybody showing on your Braunvieh show. Congratulations. We will be moving on with our Highland show here in a few minutes.